Uh, so both the speaker and host are organizing this meetup at individual capacity. We are not representing our organizations here. The presentation is strictly for learning purpose only. We do not hold any responsibility. That same solution will for us for business use case also. This presentation is not meant for any promotional activities as such. Yes, we are good. I'll just look into. I think we are good with the people. Let me quickly share the presenter mode with everyone before I start with the organizers. Yeah, just give me some time. I'm enabling presenter mode for everybody so that we have full interaction mode event happening today. Okay. Okay. Let's not delay the event. I think we have a lot of people joined already. I'll enable the presenter mode for everybody in the meantime. So, firstly, our the dream team of Kolkata meetup group. So, we firstly, as you see, we have Jyoti Chaube. This is me. Hello, everybody. My name is Jyoti Chaube, and I'm thrilled to be a part of this event today. I am as a senior solution consultant at Kaylee's Consulting, that is based out of Mohali. I recently became MuleSoft ambassador, milestone I'm truly excited about. So recently, I've cleared a lot of MuleSoft and Salesforce certification, and yeah, definitely, I'm very excited to leverage all the knowledge that I've gained from that part within the community and outside that part as well. So today, as a part of Kolkata Meetup Group, organizing team and moderator team, we are going to explore an exciting topic, which is a combination of strength of Mule APIs and robotic power together. For this session, we will definitely be collaborating with all the people in the standby here, and we will be having all the innovations added, and we will be pushing all the boundaries that has been set out in previous events. Now coming to Priya Shaw, I'm just checking out quickly if she has joined the meetup. No, I don't think so. So let me introduce her. She is our technical lead in LTI Mindtree, a most active organizer or moderator. She has taught in organizing this meetup together with Suman Chatterjee, who is also a senior architect in her company in his company. After that, we have Indranil Paul, who is a technical specialist at IBM. After that, we have Brajeshwar Roy. He's a technical architect, technical manager as well. After that, after this, our amazing team, we have two wonderful, very wonderful speakers that will be hosting everything today. And I would definitely like you, Apurva and Sahil, to introduce yourself.
Thank you, Jyoti. Good evening, everyone. My name is Apurva Chauhan. I'm working as a solution consultant with over 2 years of experience turning complex tech challenges into seamless solutions. I am glad to be this part of this meetup and dive into this exciting fusion of MuleSoft and RPA. Yeah, that is pretty much all about me. Sahil, would you like to go?
Yeah, thanks, Apurva. So, hi everyone. First of all, good evening or good morning. So, my name is Sahil Kad. Currently, I'm working as solution consultant here at KDS Consulting. I'm a certified MuleSoft developer, and I have worked across like various projects across various domains, like majority of like in the MuleSoft side of things. But yeah, I have like contributed well share of things in the automation as well. And this is my second meetup, so like I'm very much excited for it. So I guess we can start with the session.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, both of you. We are so excited for this meetup. Meanwhile, I have enabled the presenter mode for everybody, but we'll make sure that we address all the question in chat first, and at the end, we'll be addressing all of them together in the meetup as well. So, do you want to present, or am I good to present it for you, Sahil and Apurva?
Uh, I would like to present from my side. That would be easy, I guess. Yeah.
Sure. So, as we have already discussed about everything that we'll be discussing in today's meetup, which is powerful strength of automation and the MuleSoft API, I would not like to give you any disclaimer of whatever we will be demonstrating or whatever we will be evidenting in today's meetup. I will definitely give over to Sahil and Apurva. Yeah, you can start presenting now.
Okay. So is my screen visible?
Yes, your screen is visible.
Okay, that's great. So let's start with the agenda first. So agenda for this session, first we'll have an introduction where we'll be seeing about the, let's just say, the use case or session that we are delivering. Then we'll be discussing some common use cases regarding the problem statement that we are going to showcase and our proposed solution. After that, we will have a use case demo where we will like we have prepared a POC, like we have let's just say created a situation or a scenario that we'll be showcasing, and after that we'll also be showcasing like the configuration side of things, let's just say from the RPA standpoint and from the MuleSoft standpoint. And after that we'll have a exciting Kahoot session, like the Q&A session, and at last the floor will be open for questions. So if anyone has any doubts or anything, they can ask. So let's just start. uh, Welcome everyone, and thanks for joining in today's session. So before jumping on to the actual use case, like we all are familiar with MuleSoft as a powerful integration platform that connects applications, data, and devices through APIs. It has transformed like how businesses build connected experiences, enabling faster innovation and agility. But what happened when we face a legacy system that doesn't support APIs? Like in our well share of experience, like working with integration and all those things, we might have come across some kind of situations when there are some end systems which don't have any kind of API support. So in that case, MuleSoft RPA steps in. MuleSoft RPA, robotic process automation, allows us to automate a repetitive manual task by mimicking human actions on UI. And with MuleSoft's Invokable RPA, we now have the ability to seamlessly trigger bots from our APIs, unlocking automation for even the most of the stubborn API-less systems. That means, like with the help of RPA invocable calls, now we have the flexibility to call the RPA process through our MuleSoft APIs. So that basically gives us much more flexibility to like let's just say play around the RPA bots and MuleSoft side of things. So in this session, we'll explore how combining the power of APIs with RPA opens the door to end-to-end automation, even across outdated or inaccessible systems. So like in my experience, I have worked on like several projects where the majority of them were like corely integration based, like API based, and some of them were automation based. But recently I faced a scenario where the solution was like majority of the solution was MuleSoft, let's just say API based, but there was some part of it which required human interaction. And if I try to explain what it was like we have to download a set of data, a file, and from that file the data will be extracted, and once we have that data, then we have to do some further processing. So the legacy the end system that we were dealing with, they don't had the support for their APIs. Like there were no APIs available, so it was very, like it was tough to extract the data through APIs. So that's the point where RPA stepped in. And the challenge, like the scenario was, I will not say it was very much difficult, but yeah, it was very much exciting for me, because it was the first time that that I was working with some invokable kind of RPA processes. I have worked on like scheduled processes, I worked on demand processes, but this was the first time I was creating some invokable RPA processes. So this was the scenario that that I faced in some recent times, and we basically tried to replicate that same scenario and showcase that in today's session, so that we can show like how MuleSoft and RPA both can collaboratively work, and how we can get some fruitful outcomes from both of their capabilities and functionalities. So before jumping on, we will shortly coming to the actual use case, but these are some of the common use case that you might encounter like in your future integrations or other things. So the use cases can be like getting some legacy invoice extraction. Let's just say there are some legacy old ERP system which don't provide API support or anything like that. So for that, we obviously have a option to go with the RPA. Like we might have to download some data, like getting the data might need some human interactions. So that's where the RPA will help us. But there can be some other things like now we have the data, but now we have to do some complex transformations, or we have to route the data to some other end system, like we have to do some soap calls or anything like that, some complex integration related kind of thing. So that can be easily done with the MuleSoft, or let's just say API based solution. So in that case, these kind of solution can help. Like we were discussing, some other common use cases are like the KYC document verification. Like we have e-commerce order sync, healthcare claim processing, retail inventory updates, and so more. Like the use case can be infinite, the scenarios can be infinite. But yeah, let's just don't waste much time and straight away jump onto the use case that we have prepared. And for that, I would like to call Apurva to come up and explain us the use case.
Thank you, Sahil. As now we have a clear understanding how MuleSoft and RPA can work together and enhance each other's capabilities and efficiency. So let's move to our use case for today. As you can see the screen, it is legacy system integration with MuleSoft and Invokable RPA. So the problem statement is that like there is a client who is using Kaggle. Like Kaggle is one of the legacy system. We can say it like that. The client is using this as to store the reviews of their current appliances from the different platforms. These can be digital platforms like Amazon, Flipkart. So they are using Kaggle to store the reviews of those appliances. Now, what they are currently doing is they are manually logging and navigating to this product review section into the Kaggle, and they are manually downloading that CSV file which contains the reviews of those appliances into their infrastructure. Now, the downloaded CSV contains all the reviews, but the business actual requirement is they only need the high rated appliances data. Like there can be a filtration criteria on the basis of rating that they only need the appliances data which has 3 plus 3.5 plus rating, or we can say 4 plus rating, because as they have their warehouse present in another end system Salesforce. So based on this filtration rating criteria, what they are doing, they are managing the production of their appliances. So this is a kind of a problem statement which we need to find a solution. So why the first very question comes, why traditional approaches fail to solve this kind of problem? Why we are not going through a direct API integration solution, and why we are not going with the pure RPA solution? As Kaggle is one kind of legacy system which doesn't support any REST or SOAP API call. As Sahil also mentioned, when we do not have any REST or SOAP API call, we cannot go through a MuleSoft complete solution. So that is where the API integration solution didn't play a role. So why not a pure RPA solution? Because we can use UI automation, we can extract the CSV data into the infrastructure, and we can transform the data according to the business logic in RPA itself. It is a possible solution, but it is very hard to maintain the complex filtering rules. For an example, in this use case, we have to apply a filtration logic that is only 4 plus star appliances data we need to extract. Also in RPA, we can use Python to transform a native CSV data to JSON. So that is we are also depending upon another dependency, right? So eliminating this dependency, there comes a role of MuleSoft, where we can transform CSV data into Salesforce through scripting language called known as DataWeave. And this is a more scalable approach because, for an example, in future, if business needs to change their criteria or needs to change their requirements, they can easily do it in the MuleSoft without even touching the RPA bot. Let's move to the next slide. So as I mentioned that we can take bot efficiency as well as MuleSoft efficiency to make a better solution. So this is our proposed solution. So here we have 3 steps. First step is we are using RPA for UI automation. That is, we are going to create a bot which is going to log in into Kaggle through a user creds, and it is going to navigate to the product review section. It is going to extract that CSV file into their current infrastructure. Another step, second step is we are going to create an invokable RPA endpoint, which will give a MuleSoft a complete power to invoke that particular process. And at the last step, MuleSoft is used for smart integration. That is, it is going to create all the transformation from CSV to JSON. It is going to create a CDM. It is going to apply all the business rules and logics. And at the last, we are going to securely push this defined and formatted data into the Salesforce object, which we are using. So there are some of the key benefits. As I mentioned, that there is no manual intervention. This whole solution is end-to-end automated solution, which is time efficient as well as human efficient. Another thing is separation of concern. This is a loosely coupled kind of solution. RPA is handling UI and MuleSoft is handling the logic and integration part. So there is no tight coupling and there is a separation of concern. No, those technologies are not completely dependent on each other. Third thing, as I mentioned earlier, this is a scalable and maintainable approach. Business rules can be updated in the MuleSoft if there will be any change in the future without even touching the RPA bot, and it will work as it is on. So through this solution, at the end, we can achieve a fully automated flow where RPA is going to fetch the raw data from the Kaggle. MuleSoft is going to process the data, and only the required and relevant data will be pushed into the Salesforce. So yeah, these are some of the outcomes. Now, the use case diagram is same here, as we can see that Kaggle is the legacy system. We are going to create a bot which is going to log in into the website, and it is going to download the CSV into their current infrastructure. And then we are going to create a HTTP trigger, invokable RPA, and through MuleSoft, we are going to deal the integration part. And at the last, all the data will be transformed into and transferred into Salesforce. Let's move to the next slide. So without any further wait, first let's go to the demo part, and then we can explain the configuration part, like how we have to configure the RPA bot and how we have to configure the MuleFlow for the same. Yes, I'll over to you.
Yeah, thanks for that, Apurva. Thanks for such a wonderful explanation for the use case. So let's just move on to the demo. And before that, I'll do some of the things to make sure like everyone gets what we are trying to do over here so that they can see the process from like start to end. And I guess we'll be good. Okay. So over here, like we have created application, a simple application, scheduler based application, let's just say. What it will do is like we will initiate the flow. Let's just go to this flow reference, and over here, so the first call, like you can see over here, I have created a HTTP operation. So this is the first like external API call that I'm making in my application. So this particular call will invoke the RPA process, Once the RPA process is invoked, then we will see how the further processing is done, how like the data, how we are getting the data, how we are processing the data, and then we are adding that data to the Salesforce. So let's just deploy this application. It should not take that much time. So in the meanwhile the application is being deployed, I will like give you a more idea about the flow. So like I said, the first call is it will basically call the RPA process. Then we will check the status of the RPA process, and once we have the data, uh, once we have the data, then we will do some processing on it. Let's just say the logic that we have to implement, all that logic will be implemented over here in the MuleSoft, and at last the data will be added in Salesforce. The project is getting built. Like in meanwhile, if anyone have any questions or anything, like they can ask, like, or they can put their questions in the chat bot as well, chat box, sorry. Okay, so it's taking some time to build. So meanwhile, let's just not waste our time, and let's just see some of the things that we are going to discuss about the configurational side of things till the time it gets deployed. So like we know that to work on a RPA process, there are some certain things that we have to do. Like the very basic one is to have these applications over here. So if you're working on any RPA project, you must have these three applications like the RPA recorder, builder, and bot downloaded on your system. And you can only download these applications once you have the access to your RPA manager. Like once like you are done downloading these applications, so to start a process, like to start a RPA process, you have to come over here and you have to like you can click over here on process. It will create a new process for you, and from here like you can give like name to your process, like you can decide the process owner, that's going to be you. Like you can select the required applications for the process that going to be used in your application. Then over here you can allocate the team members as well. Like if you're a solo contributor in the project, like you can your name will be shown over here, but if there are any other team members, then you can see that like you can add those members over here in your team as well. And so after that, like once the team members are added, you can provide them permissions based on like different let's just say levels. Like you can give them design permissions, build permissions, test permissions, so that they can interact with your project accordingly. And once all the things are done, like you can give a description to your project and save it. So once the process is saved, let me just create a dummy one, because the for the it's just for a demo purpose. Demo RPA process. Fine. And we will save it. Okay. Okay. So the main thing is I have to choose the category. So over here, let's just let me choose a category that I created. Sahil's hyper automation, and save it. So the category is important. Like whenever we are creating a bot, we have to put it under a category. And once the process is done, it will give us the access to start automating it. So this is the first thing that you see, like the design phase where you design your bot. So this is the initial phase, like where you can design your bot and like you can put the steps. So here we have the first step, and this is like the bot step, the bot task that usually bot performs. Over here we have like some other like tools, like the start of the process, the end of the event. Like if some task is user based, then we can add this particular block over there. but but before that, like what we will straight away do is, like if you straight away want to start with your implementation thing, so like you can complete this like complete your design like this and just straight away jump to the build process. Let's just see if our application is deployed or not. And yes, it's deployed. Okay, now let's move on to the, let's just say, the exciting things, the demo side of things. So the event is here. Let's just resume this and see how things are working. Let me just make sure of one thing. The process streaming is on. Yes, so that you guys can see what working in the backend. So now when I will resume the process, it will call the first, it will like make the first API call, and in that way our API, like the invokable RPA process, will get triggered. So let's just do that. So let's just wait for the event to come over here. And it's here, we have the execution ID. That means our process is started. Now we can see the process from the process streaming option. Like the bot that I have deployed is on my other machine, so we can't like share the screen at the same time. So but that's not a problem, we can see the operationing of the bot through process streaming option. So let's just wait for the image to load. It can take some time to load the image. Yeah, so here you can see that, like now this is the RPA process that is like running on the back end. Like you can see the Kaggle is there, the RPA is doing its job, it's looking for the dataset file that I want to download. It will download that dataset file and do its functionality end to end. So this is how like you can monitor your RPA processes as well. Like if you don't have access to the machine on which the RPA process is deployed, but still if you want to check if that is working perfectly fine or not, then you have the option for streaming to check if your process is working perfectly fine or not. So let's just wait for the RPA process to end, and I guess it's ended because our browser is. So let's just go back over here. Now the second call that we are going to make over here is to check for the status of our RPA process. So this will basically give us the output for our invokable RPA process. So let's just see that. And moving forward, if you see, like if you check the payload, let me do this. And over here you can see we got some payload. Now we will definitely explain like what all things that are there in this payload, like how I'm getting this data, because that can be a very valid question, because this data was present in a file. So how to like extract that data from RPA and put it here in RPA response. So that is something that we will definitely discuss. So once we are good with the response that we want, then we have a check condition just to check if the RPA process was successful or not. And then we will do the further processing, and this block of code is just doing nothing, like it will basically take the products and put it in Salesforce. So I will show you that as well. So right now over here you can see that we don't have any products, and some of the products you can see that are there, and these products just recently got created, and we can verify that as well from the inspector. So let's just do that. So the selected ID from Amazon product. So Amazon product is the object where I'm putting all the product data. And let's just put a where clause to verify that this is the data that was just added in the Salesforce. Created date and give it a criteria of today. And over here you can see that this gave us the data that was just recently added in our end system, that is Salesforce, and we can verify the data as well, like all the data that we wanted is here according to our need. So we will be going through the data, we'll be going through the data file, we'll be going through all the things like this. This is the overview of the process, but now we'll be basically touching upon the configurational side of things. So once we are done with the thing, we just saw that like how MuleSoft and RPA, like the API and RPA collaboratively worked and gave us a like, let's just say, output that we required. Now let's just see how we configured things in RPA. So we were at the point where we were discussing about the RPA process. So once you are done with the design thing, like you can publish it, then the process goes into the build phase. So in the build phase, you develop your process on RPA Builder. So once the process is developed, you will, and once the code is pushed from the builder, then the updated code, or let's just say the updated process, will be visible over here. And then you can push that process to your test phase and production phase. I will show that with the process that I've created, or let's just say the bot that we just saw that was running on the other machine. So this is the process, the Amazon product sales dataset. So let's just go back to test. Right now it's in production, and see how everything we created. It should be back to build. Okay. So these were the 4 steps that I like implemented in my RPA process. So the first step is to clean up the previous execution. So it's like it will clean up the data that was there from the previous execution. Like the RPA process is meant to be executed multiple times, right? So like every time there will be a new file. So there is no use of the file that was downloaded previously. So we are simply deleting that file. In the next step, what we are doing is we are opening a Chrome session. In this Chrome session, we are logging into Kaggle, and using the credentials like the username password, we are able to log in. Once we are logged in, we are looking for the dataset that we want to download, that particular dataset file. And using all these RPA steps, it will basically download the file. And at last, what will happen is the file will get stored, and the data that was there in the file will be read. Now, the question can be how we are sending that data from RPA to MuleSoft. So now the thing is that when we make our RPA process invokable, so we get an option that when we are calling our RPA process, we can send some data through that request call. And that are basically the activity parameters that we are using in our RPA process. So, so whatever activity parameters are there, so those can be sent in our request. So there is one activity parameter that I have created as output response in my RPA process. So at the end of the process over here, you can see that I have set a variable. So in this variable, in this operation, what I'm doing is I'm populating all that data in my activity parameter, so that in the output response, I get the complete data. So the thing is that it's the activity parameters that are helping us. So at the time of making the call, we can send out the activity parameters, and at the time of receiving the data from RPA, we get the data in activity parameters as response. So from there, we are getting the data of the file that we required. So once we are good with the build side of things, like we will push it to test. And the last thing after that, okay, now the important thing is, if we want to make our RPA process invokable, now this is the important thing, the RPA process has to be in production phase. then only we can make our RPA process invocable through an API call. And let's just see how we can do that. So once your process in production phase, over here you will see an option for to creating a new configuration. Over here we have a scheduled run configuration, we have on-demand configuration, but in this case we want a invocable run configuration. So when I wanted to create an invocable RPA process, I will choose this particular option, and let's just see what all uh, configurations or details that we have to provide. So over here we have to give name to our configuration. Next we have to look at the activity parameters. So these are the activity parameters that are being used in my RPA process: the CSV file name, the CSV file path, dataset name, all these things. You will see like how we are populating all these things. Right now it's empty, but we are sending some value certainly, and how we are doing that you will see that. And this is the output data from which I am able to extract the CSV file data. And if we go next, then we have the user task. If we go next, then we have the execution. So over here we can set up we can provide the credentials for the machine on which we have to run our RPA bot, and at last we can select the bot on which we want our execution to take place. So at last, once everything is done, just save it, and then you will have this configuration. Now, once you have the configuration, now the another important step. Now you have the invocable configuration. Last step is to publish that configuration. By clicking on publish, you will get the option to publish it on Anypoint Exchange. So this will create an asset on Anypoint Exchange, which we can use in our MuleSoft process, and through that we can call our RPA bot. But before jumping on to that, there is one thing that I want to discuss. So the thing is that when we call our RPA process, the invocable RPA process, generally there are two ways, like there are two ways to call it, and both the ways required some kind of authorization. There is one authorization that is basically related to connected app that Apurva will explain, but there is one more authorization that is related to API keys. So in that case, we must have an API key for the authorization, and that API key is basically generated over here in settings. You have to go to user API keys, and over here you will get an option to generate your API key. So from here, you can generate your new API key, and whenever you will call your RPA process, at that time you have to provide that API key so that the authentication gets successful and the RPA process can be invoked. So this was like the configurational side of things from the RPA side. Now I would like to ask Apurva to show the MuleSoft side of things, and after that we can surely come up with the questions and move ahead with the Kahoot quiz.
Thank you, Sahil, for explaining us the bot process. Jyoti, can you give me the permissions to share my screen? Currently, I do not have that permission.
Yeah, can you try sharing it now?
Uh, is my screen visible?
Yes, clearly.
So yeah, let's move to the MuleSoft part. As Sahil has mentioned that an asset will be created in the exchange. So I'm just going to log in into work. So you can go to exchange. Here you can see all the assets, and this one is the asset which was published by Sahil. So we can see in the endpoint section that these are the endpoints which we are going to use. So there are two types of endpoints. One is V1, another one is V2. So this depends upon authorization. If we are going to use an API key, bot key, which Sahil explained how to generate a bot key, then we have to go with this V1 endpoint. Otherwise, if you are creating a connected app, you'll have a access management. You can go to access management and you can create a connected app with the name, which is going to give you an authentication token, client ID, and secret, and you are going to add the scopes which are required for your process. Then you can go with the V2 endpoint. So yeah, for today's demo, we are going to showcase V1. So as it was mentioned by Sahil as well, that first we have to invoke that RPA process. First we have to, like MuleSoft will invoke that process, and another step will to get the status of that process, whether that process is in running state, whether it is not even started, whether it has errored out due to some of the reason, or whether it is completed or a success. So first endpoint we have is post, and post is a method for that. So HTTPS is the, and we have Keyless Consulting in this. This is your host name, and this is your base path external API organization. So this will be your organization ID. It will depend upon your organization, and each processes have a unique process ID. So this is this process ID. So whenever you have to invoke a process, you have to use this as a base path and executions as a sub path. So for that, for authentication purpose, as I mentioned, that we are going to use API key. So how we can do it? Through headers, we are going to send API key as a header, and we are going to send that API key, which was generated by a bot in RPA Manager. You can use an encryption method, as it is the best practice to encrypt those keys, because those are confidential and credentials. We cannot share it with everyone. So yeah, that is how we are going to invoke that bot. Another step is, after invoking that bot, we have to know the current status of our bot, like bot process. So for that, we have a get endpoint, where each process will give us a unique execution ID. On the basis of this, we can get the current status, which will be highlighted in our payload. So this was all about Exchange. Let's move to the POC kind of side. So I'm going to simply explain the configurations for the same. So like this is the main flow. We have used a scheduler trigger for this. So first of all, we are creating a request parameters here. I have externalized it into the properties file. Like we create different properties file on the basis of the environments which we are using, as it is one of the best practices which we follow. So here you can see that we have defined the method, we have defined the host, port, base path, and this is the invoke path, because the very first step will be invoking that RPA process, and another step will be getting the status path. So this is how we have configured this, and the same thing is configured over here in this variable called HTTP operation. So another thing is, in payload, I have mentioned as input arguments, right? So these input arguments are nothing but the activity parameters which were shown by the Sahil. So we are going to get those data from RP bot through this. Now we have this REST call over here, from which we are going to get that execution ID from payload. And then by using this execution ID, we are going to have that get status call. So we have created a custom logic over here, that is until successful we have used on the basis of the status of the bot. For an example, if the bot has reached to the success state, or if for any condition the bot has errored out, only in those conditions the process will come out of this until successful scope. Otherwise it will try up to it will complete its functionality or its part. So on the basis of this status, we can check whether, just give me a second, whether the if the status is success, that means bot has completely extracted the CSV data. It has given me the transform data into activity parameter, and I can use that data to transform and apply those filtration criterias which I have explained earlier. And then we can iterate over that product data and create a current transform data into and transformed and send that data into Salesforce object, which was shown by Sahil in the demo. But if the status is error, or due to some any unknown reason the process fails, so we have also created a custom error handling through raise error, where we are using these methods. So a reason is payload.result or title give us the brief description about the error. It will give us the step where the bot has failed. Similarly is for the description. Detail will give us the detailed description for that. And then we are going to create a custom error, and it is going to error out, and it will give us a human readable error kind of thing. So yeah, this was all about the MuleSoft kind of part. So by this, in conclusion, we can use MuleSoft and RPA together to find the efficient solution for such kind of problems. So yeah, Jyoti, that was all from our side. Any questions? We are open to take questions from the audience.
I think all the questions were answered gracefully by the team members here. So we are good
Oh,
on
that's
that
wonderful.
side. Yeah. Let me quickly share my screen to have the most exciting part of today's event. Okay. So I hope my Kahoot screen is visible now. I would request everybody to start joining this amazing Kahoot channel for now. Thank you, Manat, for joining. I found that this theme very amazing. It was new also in the Kahoot. Okay, I think meanwhile everybody is joining. We have few questions. I think Gaurav has asked, is the RPA built in MuleSoft? It's a part of your Anypoint platform subscription, yes, Gaurav. But it has a different UI and platform access altogether. They have their usage and their monitoring, their application deployment, everything in a different platform. But yeah, it's present in your Anypoint platform. You have to build your flows in Builder, not in Studio. So yeah, no worries. Hiding, it would be glad if we could run through some demo if you have already prepared for once. I'm sorry, I do not understand this. Sabriwal, Sabriwalan, can you come on mic and tell us your query? Okay, so we have another question, Kiran Moy. So how the credential are stored in RPA? Okay, so you secure all your credential there in global properties, global credential pool in your RPA manager. Also, there is an encryption that happens whenever you select any of the account credential type of variable in your activity parameter. But yeah, you can separately define all of the global credential in your credential pool in RPA manager. You can definitely have a particular session if you need any specific use case or any specific demonstration altogether. We can have it posted in the next meetup. I think we have a lot of people joining. Yeah, definitely. You can reach out to any of us on LinkedIn, on Slack channel, on MuleSoft community channel. We all are available there for any help needed. I think we have a lot of people. Let me check. Okay, we have only 33 people here, but in the meetup we have 52. So, okay, I'll not be there because I'm hosting this meetup. I have all the answers. But I would really request everybody of you to join this Kahoot channel. And let's start answering all the questions. Though, one small disclaimer, all the questions added here will definitely, we have already covered all those topics. So it will not be difficult. just to understand the question, and it will definitely be a mind booster for you all to check if we have understood everything or not. We have a Mule dev with us today. Very cool names that I see on screen. I will wait for one more minute. I would request everybody else to join. If we can have 51 participants added, we will have more competition in there. Yes, Kiran, we need RPA installed in our PC wherever you want to download the files because it runs locally. Okay, we have a lot of people. Now I'm clicking on start button and yes, let's start with the first question. 3, 2, 1 and go. Show what this happened. Are you able to see? भाई ये क्या हो रहा है मेरे क्वेश्चंस क्यों This seems to be amazing. Can we complete that slider? Yes. This is amazing. Now let me quickly share the other one now. Okay, just give me a second. Yeah. So all done with the interest check. Now we have to start joining this space. We will be having the mind test questions. Okay. Yeah. Can everybody join this pin code now? Suman, I'm sorry. Can you repeat that question? What it ended? Oh, are you talking about the other screen? Oh yeah, that was just the interest check. So we had a good participation there. No, the actual quiz is present on your UI screen. This is the brain test now. The other one was the interest check, wherein we were checking the participation of everybody. Yes. So we'll have all the questions in this one. A lot of people are joining here. Yes. 38 people. The mule dev is absent here. Who was the mule dev? I think we wrapped up the demonstration, the learning part, the insight, everything at very good time, and it was a very good presentation. Like as everybody is joining the Kahoot channel, I would definitely like to appreciate our two of our speakers, who is Apurva and Sahil. Definitely, I am from an automation background, so I definitely understand how precisely and how gracefully they have made us understand everything. And I hope every newcomers or everybody for whom it's the first time, they would have got their knowledge boosted with this. I think we have a lot of people join. Let me start this now. And here comes the first question for MCQs. We have 16 questions. Disclaimer. So first question is, what is the primary purpose of invokable RPA? We have 4 of our options listed, and I'll not speak too much because we have 10 seconds only. Quick fingers always win. We have 28 correct answers. I believe some of people were not able to answer on time. Let's check out the board. Anurag is on top. Anurag understood all the explanation correctly. I'll not judge on that basis, but yeah. Yes, so we have the next question, which is, which MuleSoft component is used to manage invokable RPA configuration? I think we learned a lot about invokable RPA configuration, so we have a lot of question with invoke RPA configuration settings. So we have 28 again. Let's check out the board. Anurag on top, Aman Agarwal on second, Gopi, Raghul, and Suman. That's great. Let's check if anybody comes up on the board now. I hope the timer is not too low or too much for these questions. 30 now. Let's check out the scoreboards now. Okay, now Aman is on top, Gopi and Mannat and Raghul and then Sahil. That's great spirit. Now, next question on screen. How does MuleSoft trigger an invocable bot configuration? I pretty like these images that we have picked up for all the question. I think they match the question theme also. So 33 correct answers. It's via HTTP requests to the bot's endpoint. Okay, scoreboards on your screen. Aman is on top. Aman is becoming RPA expert now. Where can you find the HTTP endpoint URL for an invocable RPA con? Okay, 19 correct answers only. So the correct answers B and C. Scoreboards. Aman is not leaving his position. I think there is a tough competition now. So next question, which security mechanism is commonly used to authorize invocable RPA API calls? 33 answers, that's good. All of the above. Scoreboards. No position change, that's great. That's great. What role does MuleSoft play in an invocable RPA integration? Okay, most of the answers are correct this time. It's B. Let's check out the scoreboard. Manna changing a position, Aman staying on the same position. Great. Next question, which of these is a limitation of pure RPA? Without noise, MuleSoft. Okay. B is the correct answer. I would really want to have 33 on 33, not 33, but 38 answers. A legacy system, I would recommend trying it out, not only for the correct answers, but whatever you think would be right. Definitely. Okay. Most of the answers are correct. A. Great. Next question on your screen. Twenty-eight correct answers. Nidhi entered the scoreboards. Next question. Okay, we have 5 more questions. What is the key benefit of combining RPA with MuleSoft? The power we discussed today. Okay, this is nice. 16 correct answers and 16 incorrect answers. Anshika is on second now. That's great. 12th question, which MuleSoft tool transforms CSV data from RPA into JSON? That's good. All correct answers, 1 incorrect answer. Okay, that's great. Aman staying on top again. Invokable RPA is idle for automating interactions with. Buckle up. Okay, 2 incorrect answers, 29 correct answers, which is B. That's great. 14th questions. Which of these is not a step in invokable RPA workflow? Very, very related images that we have added. Okay, 24 correct answers. Aman Agarwal's again on top. What is the final output of Kaggle RPA MuleSoft sales use case? So I think this is the use case which we demonstrated today. It's specific to what we demonstrated. 25 correct answers. A lot of attendees, patient attendees with correct answers. This is the last question and a booster question, which can help you to reach the scoreboard top list. How can a bank with a 1980s mainframe, no APIs, automate transaction reconciliation with a modern core banking? That's a good proportion, 28 correct answers. And the podium presents the third as Nidhi. Thank you, Nidhi. Anshika on second. Okay, and Aman on top. That's great. Congratulations to all 3 of you. And I believe fourth is Gopi and Ragul is fifth. Thank you so much for participating in here. We appreciate your patience. We appreciate your collaboration. to make this meetup success. Thank you, everybody.